I don't know why this is not getting enough attention, but China just completely stopped buying soy from the US and is now buying it from Brazil and Argentina. And let's just put things on perspective. Last year, China bought $12 billion on soy from the US, which is enough to fill 20 football stadiums full of soy. Okay? And because, you guessed it, because of the tariffs, now they are buying from Brazil and Argentina. And let's just remember that the US bought a chunk of Argentina's death. And quickly after that, Argentina dropped the soy exportation tax fees, making it more accessible for China to buy from Argentina, which, by the way, I'm not mad that they're buying from them, but just to put things in perspective, now the farmers in the US are stuck with unsold crops with death, and a lot of them have had to close their farms. Yep. Anyways, follow for more news.
Because of Trump's stupid tariffs. When are you going to stand up for us instead of kissing his ass for these trade deals?
Thousands of U.S. farmers are currently being choked out by Trump's foreign trade policies. Because what happens when your entire economic playbook is to just slam the world's second largest economy with tariffs and hope they submit? They retaliate. Let's break down what's happening right now with China and soybeans. China is, or was rather, the largest buyer of U.S. soybean exports in the world. Last year, they bought over 50% of U.S. soybean exports. That's $12.6 billion worth of soybeans. Do you know how many soybeans they bought since May of this year? Zero. And that's because of Trump's tariffs. Since taking office, Trump and his team have been very hard on China. And in retaliation, China chose to impose a duty on U.S. soybeans, meaning Chinese businesses are now looking for cheaper soybeans to buy. Specifically, they're turning to South America, Brazil and Argentina. Brazil is now the world's largest exporter of food to China. They've had a very good relationship with China over the years. But Argentina is even more interesting. Argentina is the world's third largest exporter of soybeans behind the U.S. and Brazil. And not only is China buying more soybeans from Argentina, the U.S. just gave a $40 billion bailout to Argentina to help with their struggling economy and keep their right-wing president in power. Giving $40 billion to Argentina while China, the world's second largest economy, is looking to do more business with the country? Not a great plan. So what is the U.S. going to do? Well, Trump is set to meet with Xi Jinping later this month to discuss trade, including soybeans. Is this trade war going to escalate further? I don't know, but I don't think in 2025 this wand measuring contest is one that America can win. So that's it for now. Follow me for more coverage. Wishing the best for American farmers.
Right now, we're in a very dire situation. September is upon us. Harvest is starting in the deep south, and we have 0 bushels of soybeans on the books to be sold to China for this current crop that's about to come out of the field.
This is what happens when a bunch of entitled, MAGA voting Americans stand on a box and push isolationist policy, like tariffs. You guys said that all the other countries will be affected by these tariffs, but we, as Americans, are untouchable. Let's isolate America. We don't need any other countries. Let's put America first. Well, the soybean farmers who overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump fucked around and found out that that just isn't the case for them. Most of their soybean crops are bought by China because America does not consume that many soybeans. They rely on China to buy the soybean crops. China earlier this year came out and said, ew, we don't want your soybean crops. You can sell them to someone else because we're going to go to Argentina to get ours. That's exactly what they did, and like you just heard the soybean farmer say, they have nothing on the books. They have nobody to buy their soybean crops, and they are SOL for it. I don't know, maybe you should have put America first and grown corn. You should have switched to corn, I guess. You chose to grow soybeans, which, just quite simply, I guess, is not putting America first. You should have chosen potatoes. If you wanted to go full isolationist and vote for a man who wanted to isolate us and, throw away our relationships with foreign nations, that's what you chose. And now no one wants to buy your crops. Crops that you grew knowing that they needed to be exported, yet voted for Trump anyways. Classic. My name is Mercedes Chandler. I don't feel bad for you guys. Give me a follow or you won't see my face again. Thank you. Goodbye.
So Trump's really screwing over the American farmers. First, he's deporting a bunch of their workforce, and then he bid on all these tariffs, so China canceled all their orders from all of our food and started ordering their food from Argentina. That's where they get most of their soybeans from now. And Argentina is collapsing because a guy like Trump was put in charge, and so their economy is collapsing. So Trump is going to give Argentina $40 billion of American tax money, of our money, to save their economy because a guy like Trump is running their economy and it's destroying their country. So the country that is stealing all of the contracts for all of our farmers, for our soybeans, is the country that Trump is now sending $40 billion of our tax money to. And he says he's getting this money from the tariffs, but we're the ones paying the tariffs. Like, they've already done studies and proved the companies are not eating the tariffs. The American people are paying the tariffs. So he's taking the money that we spent on these tariffs and sending it to Argentina. How is this America first exactly? Because it seems like it's just a nail in the coffin for American farmers.
Today, $13 billion were lost from the U.S. economy because China announced it will no longer be buying U.S. soybeans. Instead, they're going to buy them from Brazil. That's about $13 billion worth of exports just gone. I don't know if you guys know how much of the United States is just dedicated to growing soybeans, but take a trip around the South. Take a trip around like North Carolina, for example. You'll see there's soybean fields everywhere. Primary customer of those, China. Chinese firms. I don't think people are getting it, man. Like, even if the tariffs got canceled today, I mean, the damage is done, effectively. I mean, it's going to take years for the United States to regain, if it ever can at this point, its position within the global trade infrastructure. Because global trade is only possible because of a system of handshakes, a system of trust between trading partners, where everybody trusts that the other parties in any trade deal are going to maintain the same systems and agreements for harvesting, packaging, transporting, unloading, and reselling goods between each other. And what the United States has done here over the last 90 days, it's only been 90 days, is it has said to the entire world, we cannot wrangle our worst impulses. Because we could have wrangled them, right? Congress could have stood up to Trump, gotten their stuff together, and said, hey, between the House and the Senate, we have more than enough people who are all dismayed at the dismantling of the global order, which has built all of this untold wealth in this country. So we are going to pass a bill and then use a congressional override in the event that a bill was vetoed in order to take the powers of tariffs back from the president in their unilateral ability to do so, which is how Trump is able to do what he's doing now. But they did not do that. What did they do instead? They cowered, right? They bent the knee because they're all afraid of this guy and his little minion from South Africa. And the cost they are paying, right, is the cost to their own bottom lines as private individuals, because they have investment portfolios that are also not doing too hot and will continue to not do too hot in a declining fashion, an accelerating rate of decline, I might add, the longer this goes on. And they're also selling off all of their kids' futures. You know, whatever legacy these people are hoping to leave for just themselves and their family, I mean, they're destroying it whole cloth right here. It's not fathomable. I mean, like the acquiescence of duty, I mean, alone, of course we know that congressional representatives don't care about duty for the most part, but the acquiescence of sense over to this little demon. I mean, it's just, oh my God.
In news that surprises absolutely no one, we are not seeing any orders from China for U.S. soybeans, and we are normally already starting to see those because harvesting starts in September. And it is being reported that the Chinese government is pressuring Chinese importers to not purchase soybeans from the United States. And if that doesn't happen, then the price of soybeans is going to continue to fall. And right now, it is below the break-even point, which means that every farmer in the Midwest, in the Dakotas, and all over the country that produces soybeans for export and sale is going to lose money this year. That's not good for the farmers. It's not good for the economy. And we told you. We tried telling you.
What we need is trade and opportunity. Right now, we're at a 20% price disadvantage to the tariffs and the trade war to our counterparts in South America, and that just makes us uncompetitive and makes us lose the market, and we need a change, and we need it now.
China imports 61% of the global soybean supply, Caleb. If China doesn't start buying again from the U.S., tell me what's going to happen to you. Tell me what's going to happen to our economy.
We as American soybean farmers have a lot invested in infrastructure and the way we raise our crops, our crop rotations, and it's not something we can simply just jump around and dabble in one crop one year and something else the next. We have long-term processes that are in place, and American soybean farmers are really good at producing soybeans. What we need is strong markets and opportunity. China is our biggest export customer. Soybeans are the largest agriculture product that's exported. Many farmers, such as myself, have no other income other than our farms. And suddenly, when your biggest customer just disappears, that's a dire circumstance. What we need is trade and opportunity. Right now, we're at a 20% price disadvantage to the tariffs and the trade war to our counterparts in South America, and that just makes us uncompetitive and makes us lose the market. And we need a change, and we need it now.
Price of soy dropped under the Trump administration, largely the result of the Trump administration's trade war with China. John's crops, diligently planted, meticulously cared for, are losing their value.
Are you angry?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm totally mad. There's no reason for it. This is absolute stupidity. This is a man-made crisis caused by Donald Trump. Period.
Soybeans are the largest agricultural export from the U.S. Last year, the value was more than $24 billion. China bought 52% of those soybeans. Since May, the country has placed 0 orders.
Thanks for clicking to watch today's video. So it started as a promise to bring back the jobs and the industries back home. But what started as a promise has really turned out into pain for the MAGA farmers. What really went wrong with the trade was because they used to export billions of dollars of soybeans to China. For us to answer that question, let's dive into our video today and listen to what people have to say. We do not own the rights of this video, they belong to the original owners of the video.
Multiple different farmers across the United States are admitting that Donald Trump's tariffs are absolutely crippling them. If this continues, they're going to go bankrupt at rates we've never seen in American history. Listen to them.
Fertilizer and seed and diesel fuel, all of these things have just about tripled in price. And I'm selling my commodity for the same thing I was in the 80s. I've never seen anything like this. And it's all due to the president's tariffs.
And an Arkansas farmer is also pointing out that Donald Trump's tariffs are a direct cause of this, saying we produce 40% more agricultural products in this country than we can consume domestically. 1 in every 4 rows of soybeans goes abroad. China is the largest importer of soybeans in the world. For the first time in 20 years, China's bought 0 soybeans and 0 new crop corn out of this country. We went from $12 billion to 0. The price for them doing their business has tripled and their sales are plummeting drastically because other countries aren't importing our crops anymore. You know it's not good when they're being forced to sell their crops at 1980s prices while paying 2025's cost. The math doesn't add up. They're going to go out of business. Farmers are losing their farms across this country. Generational livelihoods are on the line and rural communities are collapsing at levels we've never seen before, all because of Donald Trump's tariffs. And these aren't just Democratic talking points. These are words coming directly from the farmers themselves.
Trump's illegal tariffs have single-handedly destroyed the U.S. soybean market. As of yesterday, the price of soybeans is about $9.34 here in Iowa. The cost of production is anywhere from $11 to $11.50. So per bushel of soybeans, it's about a $2 loss. And when you add the fact that it's about 50 bushels in an acre of soybeans here, you can do the math to see how bad things are. Historically, 60% of Iowa soybeans have gone to China. With Trump's trade wars from his first administration, the U.S. has become an unreliable supplier. So instead of these soybeans going to China, it's soybeans from South America, like places like Brazil and Argentina. That leads to more grains going to be left in the bin, which means to oversupply, which means to lower prices. So here's what we need to do. We need to demand trade, not aid. Farmers don't want a bailout, they want markets. The second thing we need to do is push for competition, both on the market side and especially on the input side with seed and fertilizer costs.
Soybeans in every field in the entire United States of America has to go abroad. China is the largest importer of soybeans in the world. They import 61% of the world's market. Last year we sent around 12 billion I think $14 billion worth of soybeans the year before. For the first time in 20 years, China's bought zero soybeans and zero new crop corn out of this country.
Zero?
So we went from 12 billion to zero.
Where are they buying the soybeans?
Brazil. You see, we lost 42% of our market share in the first tariff war. In Trump's first tariff war, the Chinese went to buying their soybeans from Brazil. They invested billions of dollars in Brazilian infrastructure. They have moved into Africa, and they're going to commercially farm in Africa. Since we left with USAID, they moved their Belt and Road program into Africa. So we've pretty much lost the Chinese market share. If we got 100% of the soybean business, Katie, for every country in the world except for Brazil and Argentina, we would still only have half the soybean business that China is.
Are you getting 100% of everything else?
Yeah, if we got 100% of everything else, we would still only have half the Chinese business.
Well, what are you getting right now if you're not getting China? Are you getting every other market out there?
Or probably some other countries, and the market's pretty stifled. Most of our soybeans here go to the Mississippi River. It's the closest place to market them. They're going to go downriver and go overseas somewhere at some point. Beans are about $10.28 on the board today. We're going to get 40 cents behind that as a basis because the elevators are going to want to control their hedge. It's going to cost us 50 or 60 cents in a truck to get there, so we're getting in the low nines. In Purdue University will tell you it takes $12.03 to raise them.
Okay, so you farm soybeans. You farm 800 acres. You know, $0 coming from China. That's a problem. How are you going to pay your bills? Are you turning a profit? Are you breaking even?
I hope to break even this year. I farm so little, I farm by myself. My tractors are all paid for. They're old. They're 50 years old. My tractors were all made in the 70s. My combine was made in 1997. I cut a load of beans, put it in the truck, and haul it to the river myself. So I've got a lot less cost than most of these boys. I've got friends that farm 5 and 6 and 7,000 acres that have million.
This is why one great man said, it's not about black or white. It's the context of the person's character. And this is the character that you guys voted for. Donald Trump and his administration is causing the farmers to fail. Like, comment, share, and follow me for more controversial topics.
Oh boy, let's talk about how Trump is screwing the farmers. I have a lot of soybean farmers who are my clients, and this is really bad news. Caleb Ragland, who's the president of the American Soybean Association, he said farmers are heading into a harvest season without a single order from China. 25% of soybean farmers' crops are usually sold to China. The prices of soybeans are down 40% because of what's happening under the Trump administration, and production costs are rising. I'm tying in the Trump administration to this. This Soybean Association president is still speaking up Donald Trump. 500,000 soybean growers in the United States exist and are being severely impacted by this. They're having to now rely on loans to get them through the season. There are 231,000 jobs associated with soybean farming, harvesting, transportation, storage, you name it. And he says the impact on the local rural community that depends on the farmer is going to be severely impacted. South American farmers, soybean farmers, are filling the gap. China is just hop-skipping over the United States, and countries like Brazil have got it completely covered. No wonder Trump is attacking some of these other countries south of us. But then he went on to reiterate that Donald Trump loves farmers and that he supports Trump. And he says that the Trump administration told him to tell the farmers to be patient. I just want to explain what these soybean farmers are looking at. Harvest season is right around the corner. Imagine that there's a machine manufacturer that is on the brink of bankruptcy and they've got a whopping $50,000 in the bank. And they've got to make a decision. Do we keep hiring people to build this one machine in hopes that we can sell it and make that money back? Do we drain that $50,000 and go into debt, hiring employees, purchasing materials to make it happen, run our facility to make that machine, pay for transportation costs to ship it out in the hopes that we'll have a customer for it? That's what they're facing. They've got to hire H-2A workers, those nasty, nasty brown-skinned people, and I'm being very sarcastic. That's how MAGA looks at them. There's truck drivers that haul the soy. There's storage facilities with silos that store them. The farmer pays to have them stored. They're going to tell them we have no room because we're storing 10,000 other farmers' soy products that are not being sold anywhere. Like, this is so fucking devastating. And when I saw that farmer in, I believe, Arkansas, crying, this is a grown-ass man with gray hair. Donald Trump, we love you. We need your help. This is what MAGA doesn't get. Don't leave a seat at the table expecting Donald Trump to come sit down and talk to farmers. He will only sit at the tables that have billionaires and Project 2025 folks. He's only focused on their agenda. And the Project 2025 agenda includes changing the American farming industry that's going to fucking screw every American farmer. He's not going to come and have a seat at your table. Just be patient.
So when Trump introduced the trade wars, many American farmers thought it was a good idea and they cheered him on because they thought that they will, they will stop depending on other countries and now start depending on themselves as the Americans. But what really happened, China retaliated, and it was the main market whereby the American farmers rather used to sell their exports, the soybeans. And so China retaliated by started buying from Brazil and Argentina. And so those MAGA farmers who used to sell and export billions of soybeans, they were left with none, as in the zero. They couldn't even export anything, and so they have really been struggling and having pain. And after that, the government tried to aid them by giving them billions, but in return that money helped them for a while because they thought that it was just a temporary situation and maybe China would come back and start buying from them. But that really never came to be because it's, yes, they can be bailout, but it's very hard to bring back your customers after they have gone. And so up to right now, the farmers are asking that, was really making America great again worth it? So I'd love to ask you a question today. When Trump introduced, do you think that Trump introducing the trade wars was a bold move or a mistake that did hurt those that trusted him the most? So I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. So kindly comment, share, and like. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching.